What's going on, broskies? My name is Shivoki and welcome back to another Season 3 Smite God Guide. Today we're taking a look at my bae, the best person ever, the most badass Roman warrior, Bellona. Some people refer to her as Bellona. I like to call her HiRezAmanda because, I don't know, that's just me. Anyway, she has to be one of the most easiest gods to pick up and start playing, but once you master her, you can do insane things. Now first, let's take a look at her passive and abilities, guys. Alright, so her passive is called Master of War. It's pretty awesome, not gonna lie. Upon giving or receiving hits from basic attacks, Bellona gains protections and movement speed for 4 seconds of max of 5 stacks. Now it's a buff ability clearly, and the protections are 4 protections per stacks, and the movement speed is plus 3% per stack. So you're looking at a really great passive. She's basically really supposed to be in the fight constantly, and she can actually turn around and do some serious damage while being hit, and also hitting. She can really move faster, gain protections, and be a lot more tankier and a lot scarier in a team fight scenario. Now her basic attacks actually hit pretty damn hard. It's 39 plus 2 per level and 100% of her physical power, so she's all about physical power, penetration, and defense. She's just a warrior's warrior. She hits hard, guys, and she actually hits insanely hard when she's in bludgeon form for her basic attacks. Now, Bellona's number 1 is called Shield Bash, a very cool ability. It's a cone ability. It affects enemies themselves, and the damage, of course, is physical. Bellona dashes forward and bashes with her shield, dealing damage and slowing enemies. Bellona gains 1 stack of block for each enemy god hit. Block absorbs all damage from a single basic attack and reflects a portion of it back around her. Bellona then basic attacks with a sword and shield until out of combat, and every 3 successful basic attacks, she gains another stack of block, a max of 3. Now the damage, of course, guys, is a max of 240, starts at 80, so you're definitely not leveling this first. It's all about bludgeon, which is number 2, but it hits about 240 towards the end, plus 70% of your physical power. Now the block, guys, is 30% at all levels. Very amazing, guys, and you can also get multiple blocks, like I said. And of course, the slow starts at 15% and goes to 35% for 2 seconds. Now later in this video I will show you how to level her abilities, but definitely I leveled Shield Bash once on level 2. The reason is, guys, because the early game she has such a great ability for blocking basic attacks, reflecting damage, of course, and as well as slowing them down, which is very important early game. Now the little basic attacks from minions and from, enemy gods is super important to block them and reflect damage back, and honestly it makes her really boxy mid to late game and especially early game as well. Alright, so HiRezAmanda's number 2 is called Bludgeon. It's an area ability. It affects enemies with damage, of course. It's physical with a radius of 25. Bellona summons a hammer and spins, hitting every enemy around her and then smashing forward in an overhand attack. Each enemy god hit and the spin increases the damage of the overhand attack. Bellona now makes basic attacks with her hammer until out of combat. Every hammer attack hits all enemies in melee range. The spin damage, guys, starts at 30 and maxes out at 150. The slam damage starts at 70 and maxes out at 310, and the slam damage increases 25% per enemy god hit. What this means is you're going in with your ultimate, you're landing down, and you're bludgeoning the entire team. So if you hit 4 enemies, that's a 100% increase on your fucking slam damage. This hits hard as shit. There's multiple plays in this God Guide where I'm showing you me landing down and bludgeoning the entire team, because it's so amazing to get that spin damage. It's very important. The one problem with the spin, though, is it's really easy to counter. Someone can easily stun you or disrupt you or whatever it is in that spin, so be careful with that. Other than that, guys, it's very important to make sure that you're actually leveling this first, because not only is the damage amazing, but like I said, early leveling and hitting minions, this basic attack actually hits every enemy around you in melee range. Very important. Now, Bellona's number 3 is called Scourge. The line ability, it affects enemies with physical damage with a range of 55. Bellona summons a Scourge, dealing damage to all enemies in a line. Enemies hit are disarmed and cannot make basic attacks. Bellona now makes basic attacks with a Scourge until out of combat, which has extended range plus 4, and every 3rd hit heals Bellona. Now the damage, guys, starts at 60 and maxes out at 220. I get about 87.50 power on top of that with my build. The disarm duration, guys, starts at 1.4 and maxes out at 2.2 seconds with no basic attacks. And the healing, guys, starts at 30 and maxes out at 50 per every 4th hit. So this, every 3rd hit. So this is amazing. This is a great ability. I level it second because not only does it disarm them, and the disarm is amazing, especially on hunters or in boxing scenarios, but it also heals you. Now if you build an attack speed scenario, which I don't ever really do, but if you do build an attack speed Bellona with haste mentalis, chin size, and things like that, you're going to be using this a lot more often than you think, and it heals you a crap ton. It's annoying as fuck. With haste mentalis, you're moving very fast, so it's a great ability, guys. I actually love it. Now, if Smite was like Overwatch and had play the games, Bellona would get it all the fucking time with Eagle's Rally, her ultimate. It's a leap ability, it affects everyone. The damage, of course, is physical with a radius of 40. Bellona plants a Roman flag, granting protections and increased physical power to allied gods. Enemies directly under where the flag is placed take damage and are also stunned for 1 second. The damage starts at 100 and max out at 500 damage, plus my typical 87.50 power. Amazing. Now, the protections, guys, starts at 15 and max out at 35. The power starts at 10 and max out at 50, and the flag duration starts at 6 seconds and maxes out at 10 seconds, guys. This is an amazing ability. It allows her to really engage well. It allows her to turn a fight around 100%. I mean, if you jump into a team fight and you stun the entire team and you bludgeon them and you hit your bludgeon for like 600 or 500 on the entire team, and then your team's also doing their CC and their ultimates, it's an insane situation. You also give them 35 protections and they're giving them 50 power. This is just such a good team fight. Ultimate, it helps her a lot, it helps her turn around fights, and she can even really counter a lot of ultimates and a lot of attacks. If a Ra's ulting her, if a Thanatos is ulting her, she can jump in the air and land on top of them and completely turn their life upside down. Now this is my typical start. Death's Toll, level 1 boots, 4 mana pots, and 4 health pots. The reason I go with Death's Toll, because honestly, Bluestone isn't that good on her. I know some of you guys might disagree, but truly, I'm definitely right, because Death's Toll works so well with Bludgeon. Now early games, you're clearing lane, in solo lane, or Joust, or Arena, whatever it is, every time you hit someone with your Bludgeon basic attack, you're hitting AoE attacks, guys. So every single one of those AoE attacks is healing you for a little bit. So Death's Toll just works so well. It's a lot of sustain for Bellona, and it allows her to be in the fight a lot longer, especially early game. Now 99.9% of the time, this is my typical Bellona build. It just works so well. You got the Warrior's Headbutt, Frostbound Hammer, Breastplate of Valor, Yoan's Wrath, Shin Size, and Titan's Vein. A very awesome build. Now of course, if I need magic protection, I'll use Bulwark of Hope. If I don't really need the last bit of penetration, I'll go ahead and get Haste of Vitalis, because Haste of Vitalis on her is just amazing. It allows you to stick to them like white on rice. They can't move, plus the slows. It's just very rude. But this build just works so well, guys. I would love to hear your typical build. I'd also love to hear what attack speed build you guys have in the comments down below. Now, as for situational items, these are the ones I most likely use. Now, of course, I said if I need Bulwark of Hope, I'll use it. Haste of Vitalis is another amazing item that I love using on her. Anything to stop healing like Pestilence and Brawler's Beat Stick is just so cool. And of course, Winged Blade and things like that just are amazing items. And I love them. So these are all situational items. If you have no idea when to use them, please ask in the comments down below. And of course, I'll explain to you in detail, because I know some of you guys are new to the game. And if so, welcome to the Smite, welcome to the channel, and I love your face. Now, if you need a good Bellona build, go ahead and pause it right here, guys. This is definitely what I use all the time in any scenario. I love going Bludgeon first, of course, the AoE damage with the amazing starter I have. Now I go for the shield number 2. The reason is, guys, because like I said in the beginning of the video, it really helps with stopping any basic attacks for blocking, and of course it is a really nice amount of slow early game. Now of course I always level Bludgeon first, then I go into Scourge, leveling ultimate when I can, but when it comes to level 9, guys, instead of going for the ultimate, I go for the last part of Bludgeon, because Bludgeon hits so hard, there's literally no better choice but going for Bludgeon. Now this is my typical build, guys, but before I say anything, I know a lot of you guys always ask like what she's good against and what she's bad against, and truly she's bad against people like Hercules in some scenarios, because if she goes ahead and does her Bludgeon and she's spinning, a Hercules can easily pull her out of it or knock her into a wall. A Tear is also a good combo against her, but she really shines really great against Osiris. She's very good against mages, very good against hunters, even good against guardians. So there's a few warriors that really counter her pretty well, but if played correctly, if you understand the other warriors, play style and what they can do and what to watch out for, you'll be fine, because Bellona's an absolute badass. Alright guys, that's it for today's God Guide. If you enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, any questions, any comments, any concerns, leave it down there as well. Also, I'd love to hear your builds, your theories, and also, let me know what you think about Bellona, because she's basically a complete badass. Now, like the video, show support. Subscribe if you haven't done already, guys. We're almost at 11K subscribers. We just hit 10K like last week. Guys, you're below my fucking mind. I love your faces. Have a good one. And as always, my friends, deuces, motherfuckers. Deuces.